What if someone wants to accept, wants to come out of Islam? Quran clearly mentions in Surah Baqarah chapter number 2 verse number 256, La ikrah fid deen, there is no compulsion in religion. Truth stands out clear from error. What some of the scholars they say, that if that person after converting, if he propagates his new faith and speaks against Islam, then the penalty of death is there. And this is the same law, somewhat similar law in most countries including India. There's something like apostasy in India. In India, if suppose someone sells the secrets of the country to an enemy, fine, what he's selling may be the truth. He may have blueprints. Some countries will give death penalty, some countries will give life imprisonment, even though he's speaking the truth. So every country has its law. So in Islam, if someone changes from a Muslim after accepting to any other religion and propagates it and preaches it and speaks against it, only if it's an Islamic country. If someone does that in India, no one can kill him here. If he's in a country which follows the Islamic law, now what he's doing, he's causing corruption. He is spreading things which are unpeaceful. So for this, if it's an Islamic country, all the so-called Muslim countries don't follow Islamic law. I'd like to tell you. You can count on the fingertips. There are also some people follow this law, some countries follow the other law. I don't know any country in the world which is 100% Islamic. I don't know any. I don't know any. So what we have to realize, brother, that if it's an Islamic country following the Islamic law, and in that country such a situation takes place, like in India, if someone sells the secret of the country, he'll be put in prison for how many years, I don't know, or maybe put to death. Like in America, the same thing. Similarly, this is the law of the country. The country is based on the law of the religion.
This principle of executing people, over issues of what may be called treason, exists in the West and exists in most countries. Where treason is considered to be rebellion against the state, state secrets are given to some other country at which that state is at war, etc., a person is executed for it. This is material information, worldly information. A person gives this information, treason, and so they're killed. You had a famous couple back in the United States who supposedly gave up information to the Russians about the atomic research. And the man and his wife were executed. Now, a person who abandons the faith personally and leaves the country, the Islamic State is not going to send people out to hunt him down and kill him or her because they abandoned the faith. But it is really dealing with a situation within the state where people are openly rejecting the principles of the state and undermining the social Islamic system of the society as a whole. Yes, there is no compulsion in religion in Islam. In fact, if we look at when the law of apostasy was first implemented, it was implemented during a period in Medina when there was a phenomenon which developed where some of the Jews of Medina were converting to Islam and then apostating in order to shake the faith of those who are already Muslims. They were doing this, playing with the religion. So the law of apostasy came in order to stop this confusion which the Jews were trying to create, those who converted to Islam, trying to create in the minds of the newly converted Muslims. So it meant you became a Muslim, you had to be serious, you had to be real. Otherwise, then you would be executed. So people were no longer allowed to play with the religion, create that confusion. Right? The death penalty for apostasy really is for those who cooperate with the enemies at war with the Muslim state, or those who gather people against Islam and to fight against the state. This is really the place for its application. The person who personally doesn't pray or whatever, in his home, whatever, nobody's going to come breaking into the home to see, are you praying, or you're not praying, are you fasting, you're not fasting. The state doesn't do this, unless it becomes something open. So a person who personally, on an individual level, apostates and keeps it to himself or herself, then the state does not go and hunt them down. We don't have inquisition courts set up to track and test people's faith and this type of thing. And even when a person is caught, or a person openly makes these statements of apostasy, etc., then they're brought before court and asked to recant. their statements, to take it back. If they recant and take it back, then they're not executed.
Have you heard the term cut and paste? And if you use the cut and paste approach, I bet you can prove anything you want from any scripture you want. It doesn't take much skill or intelligence to do that. There are numerous common errors we hear around these days by those who are preaching hate and inciting people against Islam and Muslims by trying to trace the violence or tragic events to the text of the Qur'an itself using the cut and paste approach. Oftentimes the errors come from mistranslation, taking one part in the middle of one verse in the Qur'an. It happens sometimes. You know, Muslims are supposed to pray 5 times a day. There's no dispute about it. Yet, if you use the cut approach and cut one verse in the Qur'an in the middle, it says, لا تقربوا الصلاة. Don't you ever even come close to prayers. It doesn't say don't pray only. Don't even come closer to prayers. But if you complete the ayah, you get the opposite meaning. وَأَنْتُمْ سُكَارَى. Don't come to prayer when you are intoxicated, so that you can understand when you're reciting. This is one example of the cut and paste. Or to take one full verse in the Qur'an and quote it and divorce it from the context in the section where it appears. Or to take one section from the Qur'an and divorce it from the context of the whole message of the Qur'an. Or most seriously, to divorce the occasion of revelation or the historical context of certain text in the Qur'an and generalize it.